Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Oh my god, I cannot believe I am finally saying this. I have a YouTube channel and I'm making my first video. I'm so happy. I cannot express how happy I am. Today we're gonna be doing this look right here. I showed you in the previous clips. It is a full-blown glam, but it's very simple. I'm gonna break it down step by step. It's gonna be sultry eyes, beautiful skin. Everything's gonna be looking like it's very well blended and seamless and natural. That's the goal. Like, you want your makeup to not look like patches. Oh, I've got blush. Oh, I've got lipstick. Oh, I've got this. I've got that. It should be like seamless, like blended into the skin. Let's get into it without any further ado. I only have my serum on my face at the moment, and I am not going to be using any sunscreen because I'm not stepping out in the sun. It's already evening when I'm going out now, so I don't need sunscreen. The sun's already set. I will go straight in with my primer. This is the Blurring primer from YSL. I do really enjoy this primer. This is a little sample size that I got with one of my other purchases, and it really does like blur the skin. Any primer that you like really works for this look. Like, you can use any primer that you want. I'm just gonna prep my skin with the primer, especially like my nose and my forehead area. I'm really oily in my T-zone, and the rest is like kind of okayish, not very dry, not very oily. It's like normal in the middle kind of skin. So I've got the primer on. I will be stepping in. So before going in with foundation, actually, I'll be doing a teeny bit of color correction, and that's because I've been having really bad dark circles at the moment. Sleeping well, working really hard, obviously. So I am using the Huda Beauty Pink Pomelo. Yeah, 4 filter color corrector. That's what I was trying to say. The shade is Pink Pomelo, and I'm just gonna tap a little bit underneath my eyes. And then I'm just going to be taking my crusty dusty beauty blender, and I'm just going to blend that into my skin. Now, I don't use a very orangey sort of a color corrector, and the reason for that is because it's too much. You don't need it. Like, for I am medium skin tone. I'm not dark, I'm not like, I'm in the middle. And if I use an orange color corrector, like, I don't want to use 10,000 layers of concealer to cover it. As you can see, this one, it literally just like blended into my skin. It corrected it, but it also blended in so well that I don't have to use a lot of concealer or product to cover this up. I'm going to be stepping in with my concealer. Again, I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty concealer, the 4 filter in the shade 4.3 N Cookie Dough. Now you'll see most of my products have N at the end, and that's because I have neutral undertones. I do not have a strong warm or a strong cool undertone. I have very neutral undertone, and I feel like those products match me really well. This concealer, I love the concealer, but I hate the packaging. I don't know why Huda doesn't fix the packaging. It gets everywhere. The last time I used one, the cap literally broke. Like, it's so plasticky and low quality that the cap literally breaks. And even this one, the cap has already cracked, although this is a new bottle. As you can see, the cap is cracked. So something needs to change here. Okay, the packaging is not right. I go in with concealer first and not foundation, because after I get the coverage from the concealer, I know how much foundation I need so that I don't have to apply a lot of product. So I'm just going in with my concealer under the eyes, around my mouth, because that's where I have the most pigmentation. A little bit on my acne scars here. There we go. And that's pretty much it. And maybe a little bit on the forehead as well. I have a couple marks and scars here. So I'm just going to be like literally spot concealing. I'm not going like, you know, putting so much product on my face and I can't figure out how to blend it. So just like really like, and then just push it into the skin. So I'm not going to drag it like that. I'm going to really just tap it in lightly so I get the coverage where I need it, and it's not like smeared around the entire face. Again, tapping that in, and then just around the mouth. I do the eyes last because that's the area that requires the most coverage in my case, and I let the product sit in there for as long as I can. Obviously, don't let it dry. but let it sit in there for as long as you can so the product can really settle in. And it gives a maximum amount of coverage as well. Now, the traditional way would be I take my sponge, go in, blend the product. I do not do that, and I don't like doing that. There's a reason for it. I feel like the sponge literally sucks up the coverage out of my concealer, and as I said, I do not like using a lot of product because it looks cakey, but I like the product to give me enough coverage so that I can get an even look. I'm just gonna go in with a brush, a small brush like this, whatever fits your eye shape, holding it from literally the end so that I don't add a lot of pressure. I'm going to be using the lightest amount of pressure like that. I'm going to start in with the outer section here. So I'm going to touch the edge of where my concealer is and blend it upwards. I'm not going to tap straight into where the product is. I'm just going to touch the edge. Take some product from here and start blending it upwards. Now what that does is I've still not moved the concealer that's right on my darkest area, but I've still kind of like covered the rest of my eye. Do the same on the other side. Just touch the edge and blend it upwards. Now, as you can see the wet concealer. There's still a lot of product there. I'm going to touch the other edge. So I'm not going to go in there again. I'm going to touch the other edge and blend it close to my nose and in the inner corner. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to blend out where it's needed. Use a very light pressure. So obviously it's the eye area. You don't want to poke yourself or hurt yourself, but also light pressure so that you don't smear around the product a lot. The coverage still stays where I want it to stay. Now you see, I still have that wet product in the center, and that's my darkest area. And using the lightest amount of pressure with my brush, I'm just going to go in and tap that in place. So I'm not moving that coverage section anywhere. I'm not taking it anywhere around my face, but just like literally tapping that in its place. Tap in place. And then I'm just going to go over again the whole thing because now I have more product on my brush. I'm just going to blend everything, go in the inner corner, and even go a little bit towards the brow. I hope all this is making sense. Like, that's just how I like doing my makeup, but everybody has their own ways. Makeup has no boundaries. It is full creative freedom. This has literally covered my under eyes. Like, I do not need any more coverage than this. Like, it's so smoothed out, gone. It's not set, but it's all covered. Next, I'll be going in with my foundation. Today, I'll be using the YSL All Hours foundation. I really do love this product so much. It matches my skin really well. Light coverage, not light coverage actually, light texture. It's very lightweight. The coverage is good. It's decent, medium buildable. I do really enjoy this product. So I go in with the foundation on my face, just a couple bumps. And now I know where to concentrate my foundation and not apply too much. I'm just gonna go in and cover up this little redness around my nose, the sides, everywhere. Just getting like a very even coverage. Now whatever's left goes on my eyelids and it acts like a base for my eyeshadow. Now if you feel there's a lot of concealer or product under your eyes, you can just take your sponge that already has soaked up a lot of product, so it's not going to soak up more. You can just go over the under eyes to just smooth out. If you have brush lines or brush streaks, which I don't have, but if you're just beginning and you don't have enough practice where you can use your brush without like getting those like streak lines, I used to do that. You can just go under and really lightly, like, bounce your beauty blender all over your face. After this, let's dive in. I'm not going to use anything brightening under the eyes or under my contour at the moment. I'm first going to do the rest of my steps. I'm going to use a liquid blush, and I'm using this one from Rare Beauty in the shade Hope. A beautiful color. Like, I love this liquid blush. It's a beautiful color. Just gonna do that, and then I'm gonna mix in a little bit of the Rare Beauty highlighter as well in the shade Enchant. just a couple dots to add a bit of glow to the face. Same sponge, I'm just gonna use the butt of the sponge and blend it out. And this blush literally like disappears into the skin within like seconds. Like, watch. It's there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seconds gone. Literally takes the least amount of blending and it disappears into the skin. And you see that highlighter gives me this beautiful glow. Obviously we're gonna set this in and we're gonna add powder highlighter as well, but this is just the base of what we're building on. It's really important to build on layers in your makeup, you know, to make it look skin like. You have to build up layers with creams and powders in such a way that it looks seamless and not like I applied something on my face, you know. Then I'm gonna take this Tantour from Huda Beauty. That's the lid, whatever. And I'm just gonna be using the shade, let me see, this is the shade Fair. Really love this product. You can either use a brush for this step. I really like using my finger because I like to warm up the product in the pan a little bit with my fingers, and then I'm just gonna like place it where I'd want my bronzer slash contour to be. I like the Tantour because it does the job of both. It does bronze my face and giving it a little bit of contour because it is slightly cool toned. So I'm gonna dot again on my jawline as well, some product, and then using the same sponge, or you can use a brush. I love using a brush for powder products, but for cream products I like to stick to the sponge or to a foundation brush. Like the brush that I'll use to put my foundation on, I'll use the same brush for the rest of the cream products. I'm not using that right now because my foundation brush is not clean. Okay, anyways, let's move on and let's start blending the product. You see, again, very seamless blend. Like this does not, you know, dry out, stick to places, cling onto dry patches or anything, or cause any trouble blending. Like it's the easiest cream bronzer to use. Love this product. And as you can see, the skin is already giving, like it's looking so pretty. I'm just gonna use something to really like brighten up my under eye, and for that I'll be using the e.l.f. 16-hour camo concealer with a matte finish in the shade light beige. Now I don't need a lot of product because I already have the coverage, so this is not for coverage, this is only to brighten up. But if this is the look that you like, go for it and start setting it. You can move on to the next step, but for now this is the one that I'm using, and I'm just gonna use like a tiny dot, like not a lot, just a teeny bit over there. And again, I'm gonna take my blender, or you can, everything's fine. Or you can use the same brush to blend it out. So I'm just gonna use the brush first to deposit the product, spread it out slightly and build up on the coverage, because with the blender sometimes like you can really like not get the get good coverage, and I feel like it soaks up the concealer. But once you have it spread across and you know where you want it, take your sponge and just get in and spread it out evenly. There we go. And my under eye is like bright. Very bright. Now I'm just going to be using setting powder. This is going to be my next step, which is from Huda Beauty again. Oh my god, I just realized I used too many Huda Beauty products. Use your baking powder or any loose powder that you like. I'm using a powder puff. It's filthy, yes, because I use it every day, and I'm going to use it till the day disintegrates in my hand. I know I can clean it. I'll clean it tomorrow, I promise. I'm taking my powder. Now, don't go straight in, okay? You see how the powder is not evenly distributed on the sponge? That's how it's going to deposit on your face as well. So you need to take your hand, back of your hand, front of hand, whatever, and just firstly take off all that excess powder. It doesn't need to go on your face. Then kind of like even out the product a little bit, just like that. You see now it's more even. I'm just going to go on the under eye and go up like that. Take the rest of the product from your hand, under eye, and go. You don't need a lot of powder. Like, we're out of those baking days where we used to bake our face like shit. Don't need to do that anymore. Taking a little bit of powder again, evened out on my hand. And then just going underneath my contour. And there you go. Whatever's left, I'm not going to take anymore, and I'm just going to set my entire forehead. I need to set my forehead because my forehead is extremely oily, but if yours is not, you can skip this step. Stepping a little bit on my nose, upper lip, like this is my problematic area, like all this gets really oily. Now, do not dust off the excess powder. Take your sponge. As you can see, here there's no powder. There's powder here and powder here. So when I use a cream product, it's only going to settle in here and not going to blend well. So I'm first going to take my powder puff and lightly, very lightly, tap on the areas where there's no powder. So it kind of sets the area, but also allows the powder products that I'm going to put on top to blend well. Same thing on this side. So I'm not applying any excess powder. I'm not using any more product. I'm just using whatever's left on my sponge. I'm just going to do that. Okay. Now I'm going to take a powder blush. You can take whatever blush you like. I'm going to create an ombre effect with my blush. I really do enjoy doing that, but you can just take one blush and be done with it. I'm taking for the first one. So I also love blush here, right on the apples of my cheek. And not just here. Like, I know this gives a lifted look, this gives a heavier look, fine, whatever, but I enjoy doing it, so I'm gonna do that. I'm taking this blush from Kylie Cosmetics. This is the pressed powder blush in the shade Winter Kissed. This one's like a slightly purple tone blush. Really enjoy this one. So I'm using this one. This has a little bit of a purple undertone, and I do really like that on my skin because I have like medium brownish skin. Purple really pops up like a baby pink. I'm just gonna take my blush, and I'm not gonna sweep around because I've not set my foundation really heavily. I don't want the brush to move the product and be like, so I'm just going to take it and I'm going to tap in. But again, you see, I don't hold my brushes like this or like this. Hold it really far away because that reduces the amount of pressure you're putting on your brush and helps deposit the product in a more even way. I don't know how to explain that, but yeah, just use less pressure. I'm going to deposit the product right there. And then I'm going to just drag it slightly up so that it helps with the transition of the other darker blush that I'm going to use. Do really love this blush. Looks so pretty. Anyways, I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to use a slightly more dark blush. Now this one had a slightly white base. I don't know how many times I've said slightly in this video. Anyways, now this one, on the other hand, does not have a white base. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but if you can see here, you see it does not have a white base. I'm going to show you a comparison. I used the one that had a white base on the front because it gives less pigment. Yeah, you can clearly see, right? Okay. I'm going to use this one. This one's from Charlotte Tilbury in the Hollywood Blush palette. I don't know what the shade is. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of that product again, tap off. So if you tap off the excess like this, it literally just pushes the product out of your brush. You're wasting product. So you take that and you tap down. So everything goes in your brush, and then you can add more product and build up while you're applying it. So do not waste your product by tapping like this. Always tap in. And I'm just gonna start, see, that's a lot, and this one's pigmented. I'm just gonna start depositing that product on the outer corner of my cheek. Just gonna do that. I'm gonna go really close to the under eye because I really like that look. And there we go. I'm just gonna bring it a little bit to the front for a seamless blend. Love putting blush on my nose. Okay, I may look like a clown. I have blush blindness. I'm okay with that. Alright? That's that. Let's move on to a powder bronzer. I really like using like pointed brushes for my powder bronzer rather than angled brushes. It gives me better control with the tip of the brush on where I want to deposit my product, rather than if I use an angled brush. I'll tell you one. Yeah, if I use an angled brush like this one, I kind of can't control the shape and where my product is going. But with a pointed brush, I can really like focus the tip on the areas where I want it. I'm using the bronzer from the Bronze and Glow palette from Natasha Denona. Love this bronzer. As you can see, well loved, well used. I don't like the highlighter on this one, but I really love the bronzer. And here's the reason why. The bronzer has a slightly pink undertone, like not pink, but like rosy brown undertone. What that does is, first, it does not make me look orange, because as I said, I do not have a yellow undertone, I have a neutral undertone. And second, it blends seamlessly with my blush. Like, it looks so pretty. I'll show you now. So I'm just gonna take some product on the tip of my bronzer brush. I use this brush for bronzer, and this is the best one that I've got. Okay, this is what makes it look so nice and blended. Again, holding it from the very end, I'm just gonna start in like light circular motion. So I'm not gonna go like this and move my foundation. Like, this is gonna move my foundation if I did that. What I am doing right now is really just touching, like barely touching my skin. I'm going in with my powder bronzer. As you can see, it instantly adds that definition to my cheeks. Same thing on this side. I know the audio for this video is really bad because mid-video I realized my microphone was not recording anything, so I need to stop moving my hands. So we have to rely on the audio that's coming from the camera, but I promise next video I'm gonna make my microphone work. Again, taking that and just going like slightly close to my hairline, just to add a bit of depth here as well. And I'm using a very light pressure. Trust me, it works all the time. Like, it makes my makeup look so good. Jawline and up. This really helps define the face. I know I've been baking for a long time now, but it's okay. Because our products were not as wet, like it wasn't like wet concealer and I put powder on, it's not gonna, cake up or anything. I'm gonna take my blender. The powder's here now, as you can see, I've already sort of blended out. I'm just gonna take my sponge and pick up any excess powder here. And then I'm just gonna take my sponge, pick up the excess powder from here as well. Then I'm going to take the same sponge which has the powder on it, the excess powder. I'm going to go over this line because I don't want this line to show. I'm just going to go over and blend. Like, really lightly, just blend that on. As you can see, there's no lines anymore, but I've got a very chiseled and very defined face. Once I'm done with all of that, I'll slightly contour my nose. I do not like heavy nose contouring where you get those little lines. Taking the same bronzer on a tiny eyeshadow brush. I'm just gonna go like that. And because I already applied the Tantour on my nose, I do not think I need a lot of more definition on my nose. Just gonna apply the product and like slightly here as well to just point out my nose. Not blending it with the brush, but blending it with the sponge. Go in place. Do not move it around. Just tap it there. Here we go. This is done. Now the last step for the base is going to be my highlighter. I like using highlighter after I've drenched my face in a setting spray, because what that does is if I use my highlighter dry, it gives me like a powdery finish, but when I do it after a setting spray, it looks like it's melted, like metallic almost rather than shimmery. So I'm just going to be taking my favorite setting spray. I'm just going to dunk my face in there, dry it, and I'm not going to apply highlighter now. I'm going to let the setting spray sit in. In the meantime, I'm just going to to my eyes. I have very little amount of like foundation or anything on my eyes, so we're gonna work with that. I don't want to put concealer and a lot of like eye products or the eye primers or things like that on my eyes. I'll be using this palette from YSL today. This is in the shade Desert Nude, and I'll also be using some colors from my Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette, which I'm currently using as a mirror, but I'll be using some colors from there too. So I'm going to first start with a brown transition shade, and I'm just going to deposit that on the outer corner and the crease of my eye. So really like depositing the product. I'm not blending right now. I am just depositing the product. I'm just going to do that and deposit the product. No blending in the moment, just depositing. Then I'm going to take a slightly fluffier brush and I'm just going to start blending that. Just the upper section, like blending it into the crease, not blending it here on the lid, not blending in the middle. I'm just blending the upper section here. Again, I'm going to do the same for the other eye. Just deposit the product first and then go like that. The best hack that I can give you for hooded eyes, like I have hooded eyes, so when I like really open my eyes, you cannot see what eyeshadow look I've done, especially after I put mascara on my eyes, because then the lid section is mainly covered by the lashes, and then what you see here is just blank. The best hack is to create a fake crease. It works like a charm. It looks beautiful in photos, and comes out really nice each single time. I'm going to use the same shade that I used here on the fluffy brush this time, not the little eyeshadow brush that I was using before. So in the same shade, I'm just going to close my eye and create a fake crease slightly above my natural crease. So I'm not going to go crazy and create like, oh, here. That's not going to look natural, or it's not going to look decent. So you want to create something that's like, if this is my real crease, I'm going to go slightly up and then just start building on a fake crease. And what this is going to do is it's going to make my eyes look bigger, and it's going to make my eyeshadow really look nice. Just that little fake crease. And now when we're going to cut this crease, it's going to look good. Once that's nice and blended, I'm just going to take a little bit of concealer on one of my brushes and I'm going to cut the crease now. Small angled brush that I'm going to use to do that. So I'm just going to take concealer that's not bright but almost the same shade of my skin, which is again the Huda Beauty concealer that I use on my under eye. Taking a little bit on the back of my hand and then just taking product, picking up the product, and then just kind of wiping some on the back. So I'm not like putting a lot of product. I don't want it to be wet. I just want it to give some color. And then I'm just gonna cut it, but make a fake crease that you can see is higher than my actual crease. What this is gonna do is really gonna give me a beautiful, bright, and bigger looking eye. Just gonna do that. And then I'm gonna take some concealer, and now I'm gonna deposit some in here like that. And then I'm just gonna take my finger and blend it out. It's gonna give me a nice big halo eye. Trust the process, okay? We're gonna fix everything. Just gonna tap off some excess while I'm drawing, because this is not the point where I'm depositing. And make sure when you're making a fake crease, they're both equal. Okay, you don't want one eye to be bigger and the other to be smaller, so make sure they're both equal creases. And then I'm just gonna again take the product and deposit it, take the finger and blend it out. Okay, you cannot see a very stark big line or a a massive crease cut at the moment, and that's kind of the look that I'm going for. Because I've created a fake crease, I don't want it to look very artificial, so I'm going to use this, and I'm just going to like blend the concealer in a little bit so that it doesn't look like I have a huge stark line. Then I'm going to be taking a matte, not shimmery, matte white shade on my finger. I'm just going to start patting that on my cut crease area. What this is going to do is this is going to help set the concealer that I was using. I have not added any dimension at the moment to my cut crease because I want to take my time. I'm just building up the products at the moment. Okay, now that we have the base of the cut crease slightly done, I have an outline of where I want my crease to be, of how I want the halo to go. I'm just gonna go in back with my transition colors, and I'm just gonna start darkening him up. And what this is gonna do is this is really gonna like bring out the cut crease. Makeup is a whole process. Like, it's not a 10-minute job. Obviously you can do 10-minute looks, but if you're going for something like this, it's very nice and detailed and very intricate. I'm going to be taking a slightly darker color and I'm going to deposit it on my outer corner of the eye and lightly blend. Then I'll be taking an even fluffier brush and go to town blending. Now my crease, as you can see, is really softened up. It's really softened up, and I like that look. I'm going to be taking a slightly shimmery sort of eyeshadow, but again with a white base, because that's the look I'm going for. I'm going to just tap it on. So you can see the glitters. I don't know if you can see them, but I'm trying. With the light, how reflective they are, it looks beautiful. Again, just tap this glittery, shimmery shade on. Really pack that in. And as you can see, my fake crease has kind of disappeared, but it's gonna make my eyes look bigger once I put lashes on and the whole look is done. Rather than if I'd gone for my smaller crease, all this above area would have been brown with my natural crease. And then what you would see is just a little bit of white here and then just brown on the top. So you would see maximum brown. But like right now, you can see there's a lot more light to my eyes because of the way I've placed the crease. Then on the very fluffy brush again that I'm using, taking the dark brown shade again and intensifying slightly, like ever so gently. So I'm just gonna like kind of like drag it out to make it look like a cat eye. Just like that. I don't like a lot of eyeshadow on my lower lashes, like my lower lash line, but I'm just going to be taking a very little amount of a light brown color. So I'm not using a dark color or the medium color. I'm using a light brown color, which is almost like undetectable underneath the eyes, but adds a slight shadow. I'm just going to take that. I'm just going to blend it out on my under eyes. And if you do not have a light brown color, you can literally just use your bronzer. That looks beautiful as well. Like, most of the days I'll just use my bronzer on my lower lash line and it looks beautiful. I'm really scared about the audio. I don't know how the audio is turning out, but I'm still filming. I'll be doing my eyebrows next before completing the eyes. So I'm just gonna fill in my brows lightly with a brow pencil. Just the front section, a little bit over here, and then just go down like that. Then I'm just gonna take a brow setting gel, a clear one, and I'm just gonna set my eyebrows with the help of a spoolie, which I've literally just bent. And then it's easier to go in with your product. Then I'm just gonna tap off the excess on my hand and just like really brush up the brow hairs and give it definition. And I do this to evenly distribute the product on the spoolie. There we go. There we go. And that's it. That's my eyebrows done. Very simple eyebrow routine. I don't do 10,000 steps. I can't. I don't have the time for it or the capacity for it. Then I'll be using mascara on my eyes. This is my favorite mascara from Too Faced. Really lifts up my eyelashes. Oh my god, I forgot eyeliner. I've just started applying mascara, so I'll stop right there. I'm going to do my eyeliner first. I'm just going to take a smaller mirror that's close to my face. And then I'm just going to wing it. Not up, but a little bit straight. So I don't want my wing to look like this, but rather look like this. So I'm gonna like outline where I want it to be, and then I'm gonna intensify it. I'm just gonna do that on the other side as well, just so that I can make them look equal, which is the biggest struggle. Oh yeah, looks decent. And then I'm just gonna intensify the wing, make it slightly longer. I'm gonna do a little inner corner wing. Just the tiniest inner corner wing that you've ever seen, but it really like elongates the eye. And then I'm just gonna go in with my mascara and really elongate the lashes. And I'm going in heavy on the front of my lashes because at the back I'm gonna be applying like a half lash, but the front is gonna be just what my natural lashes are. So I'm really going in heavy at the front so that I can blend the outer lash. Everyone makes funny faces while doing eyelashes, so it's fine. I'm trying not to make one, but that's how everyone applies mascara. I know that. I know you do too. I don't think I need falsies with this mascara, but I'll put them anyways. I'm gonna use a half lash on the outer corner of my eye. Actually, you know what? I'm feeling a full lash. Let's do a full lash. I'm going to use a highlighter. This one's my favorite from Charlotte Tilbury in the shade Pillow Talk. And I'm just going to use this one on a nice fluffy brush. Now, I don't like the fan highlighter brushes. Steer away from them. Like, I don't know. They just do not bring out the glow and they just don't make sense to me. Like, I don't know. They don't pick up the product nicely, go everywhere. So I like to use a nice pointed sort of a fluffy brush to pick up my highlighter really lightly again, and then just go in, and it's going to give you the most beautiful glow. Don't go on the whole bridge. I don't like that. I mean, if you like that look, go for it, but what that makes makes my nose look oily rather than highlighted. And because I've set it with powder, I really like going just here in between my brows almost, and on the tip. Slightly on the chin, not a heavy hand there. And just really lightly on the corners of my forehead to bring some light, like, you know, to allow that reflection to happen. Just gonna like also use the same brush to blend the highlight out because I don't want it to look like a stripe of light. I'm just gonna use the same brush to sort of like blend it out everywhere. There. That's my highlight done. Now my lashes should be almost done. Just gonna check on them. Yeah, they look done. So I'm just gonna take my lash I cannot find my tweezers since day before yesterday, so hands it is. I'm just gonna look down like one eye. I'm gonna close one eye and use the other one as my, obviously, my viewing eye. Just gonna place my lash and then look down like that and put it on. I always go ahead and clean up my lip line, but not with concealer. I feel like with concealer, if I clean up my lip line, it kind of ends up bleeding, sort of. I don't know, it doesn't look as sharp. I use a powder foundation. So I'm using this one from One Size. This is their powder foundation, and I'm gonna take it on a little angled brush and start cleaning up the. Then I'm just gonna take a lipstick to fill the center in. I'm using a really light colored lipstick because that's the look I'm going for. Obviously, as I said, this lipstick is very subjective. This is a very dark vampy lip liner, but I put it on because I knew that the lipstick I'm going to use is really going to, bring it down and soften it because the lipstick is really light. I'm just putting that in the center of my lip, as you can see. Almost concealer lips without the lip liner, but because we have the lip liner on, it's going to look beautiful. Then I just apply it to the center, take my finger and start blending it into the lip line. Not the center, but from the sides first. Because I want the lipstick pigment to be most concentrated in the center and then blend out towards the side. Alright, my camera just died, but this is the final look. I'm going to switch up my hair a little bit, wear some jewelry, and I'll be back. My hair and makeup is all done. I put some jewelry on, did my hair off camera, and this is the final look. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, do not forget to subscribe to this channel, and if you don't, I'm coming for you, okay? You need to subscribe. All right. Thank you so much, guys. See you in my next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.